Guys, sometimes we lose sight of what God's doing. Now, I want you to hear this. Do you realize that God does not just work with perfect people? You know why? Because he'd have an awful lot of time on his hands. Guys, there are no perfect people. Every one of us has felt this feeling where we're looking at our life going, this is not at all what I wanted this to be. But what we have to understand is that God works in a broken world with broken people, and many times through the process of what we're going through, instead of just putting in our time, we've got to learn the principle of seizing the day. You know, it's kind of interesting. There's a couple ways that we can do this. All right, so if you're in the middle right now, which we all are there at times of hating your life, the first best thing you can do, this has changed my life, 1 Thessalonians 5:18. For this is the will of God for you in Christ Jesus, that you give thanks in everything. Guys, you look for ways to be thankful in what God's doing. We just did our song, Got to Get My Mind Straight, here on the West Side. That concept is looking for the ways, get my mind straight, being thankful for what I can see God is doing in my life. That's the first thing. Here's the second thing. Remember we're talking about the strokes in the masterpiece? It's interesting because in Psalm chapter 90, verse 12, it says, teach us to number our days so that we can present to you a heart of wisdom. And the idea behind that is every single day, those strokes. Guys, we get bent out of shape when we naturally do this. We look forward at the next 10 years of our life, the next 5 years of our life, the next decade of our life, whatever it may be. And we look and go, oh, I just can't live like this. Well, you know what? God says, no. You just look at the individual strokes. How am I putting the strokes in your life today? That painting took a while to put all the strokes in the right place and do what has to happen so that by the time you're done, you've got a masterpiece. Guys, listen, every single person in the world has some bad strokes in their painting. But when we day by day don't make up our own rules but apply God's principles, it gives God an opportunity to fix the painting and make it be right. Here around the bridge, we've always said this, our goal cannot be to survive, our goal must be to prevail. Guys, I want to challenge you. Especially if you're in that moment right now where you're like, you know what, I don't like my life right now. This may be that moment in the desert where God is creating within you the character and the integrity and the understanding of Him to apply those principles in such a clear way so that when that moment comes, He can actually go, look at the masterpiece I just created in your life. Guys, when we decide to do God's thing God's way and not by our own rules, the end result is our life becomes a masterpiece. Let's do that this week.